Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kids and Conversations. I am your host, Kyra. How are y'all doing today? I hope everybody is having a beautiful, wonderful, and productive day. And we are mad late, and I'm not even going to say why we are late. I'm just going to say when we bring on that certain co host, hey, Taz, he could explain the real reason why we are late. So, I'm not going to keep y'all. We're going to get this party started. And we have a old guest that used to be on Candy Conversations. And she's come to bless us with her beauty today. So everybody make sure y'all give her a warm welcome to Miss Natasha. Look at Queen B.
Yeah, I am freezing. I don't know what is going on.
This weather.
Yes.
Mother Nature is having hot flashes or something because
And her feelings.
this ain't right. I waited all this time
Right.
for some good weather and I still ain't getting no good weather. I'm highly upset.
Mm-mm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, everybody. We
Mm-hmm.
gonna bring on the man with the jokes, Mr. Deacon. I know Tessa, it is always Terry.
See, I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was gonna say behind stage. You
Okay.
posted. You posted on your post. See you at 9:15. So nobody's
I
mad.
did not. No, 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 no. Let's
So I
let's let's
thought.
make it very
I
correct.
thought. I
I
thought there
posted.
was
Wait a minute. I
no.
posted at
How do
no.
you cut me off and then say, "Wait a
Posted.
minute"?
I posted at 8:50, and I said we will be on in 15 minutes.
You play keep playing
Okay,
with that
which
PPP.
makes 15 minutes from 8:50 and 9:05.
All I saw was 15, and then you said 15. Last week you said
That was last
9:15.
week. We in a
So
whole nother day
you can't keep changing up the time. Pick a time
it's
and stick with it.
because I'm giving you time.
You don't need to give me time. Give yourself time. If you give me time, then keep it at 9:15.
Derek, we it's 9:20.
Was I on? Was I not in? What are you talking about? We started at 9:17. You just gave a long behind intro. And hey, y'all, I'm not gonna say why we running late, but I'm gonna let you pause for dramatics. Pick the person when he gets on and tell you why you late. Now you want to look at what time it was. Nobody told you. Nobody told you to get up and do a 70-minute monologue. All you got
ain't,
to
no,
do is get on
ain't
and say,
nobody do
"Hey,
no 70
everybody, it's your host Kyra.
Derek,
We're
you
back
just
for
gotta
another Candy
hold yourself
conversation.
accountable for
Let's
your
get this story
lateness.
started." No, you want to get on and you want to give a soliloquy, and now you want to talk junk. No, get out of here with that.
Uh-uh. Hold yourself accountable.
Hold yourself accountable.
Who did I have to call, Tasha?
You ain't have to call me. You decided to call me. I
Because
know
it
what
was
you're at.
already 9:05.
Because I had till 9:15.
No, you didn't. You had to 9:05. You got to read the post, Derek. Read the post.
You're gonna stress me out. So I'm gonna think this is.
Okay, beautiful people. Now that y'all done seen me and Derek have our first fight in the beginning of the show, you could. It don't matter, Tessa. It don't matter. It don't matter.
Pink, what? Pink, Pink, stay in the viewer's position. Okay, you know, you're acting like you're making a muted. Be a viewer. Okay.
Today's conversation or today's topic is: should single people give relationship advice?
The topic should be should should viewers give advice about what to tell people on the show to do when they're not on the show.
Oh Jesus. The audience can give their comments and opinions about what time the show starts. Because without them, there's no candid conversations.
You're right. We appreciate all 7 of y'all.
I can't stand Derek. I swear to God. Jesus help him. Jesus help him. Just aggravates my soul. Now, like I said,
So what brought about tonight's conversation?
girl, you know we be trying to drum up these topics and trying to see what people be talking about, and you know, and one of the topics that I had ran across, somebody was they did a reel and they was just going off about how single people shouldn't be giving advice because if you ain't in no successful relationship, you shouldn't be giving nobody advice. If you single, you shouldn't be giving nobody advice. You should just single people that's looking for marriage and looking for this and that need to be around people with the same mindset. It was just a whole. I believe I have the clip of the person that was saying, you know, single people are toxic and you gotta associate yourself when it comes to your relationship with people that's like you gotta find married people in order to get advice from them about relationships and how to stay in your relationship and all this and that. And I dumbed it down to like a couple of minutes because ain't nobody about to listen to the whole thing. But that's basically what summed it up. So we're gonna get the people's opinion about should single people give relationship advice or should it only be people that's married? I don't agree with it. The comment, I don't agree that just because you married, you can give good relationship advice because you could be married and still be happy.
That don't
Right.
Are we going to the video?
Which is the case a lot of the time.
Hello, you know.
Are we going into the video? Videos before we get started? Because
we can separate the videos and we can do one video and then get started.
Which one you want?
You can do the top one.
Okay. First. You know, it's your show, so whatever you want.
Direct.
Stop taking advice from your single, toxic ass friends who can't keep a man. If that's what you want, if you want a man and you seek marriage and you want to be a wife and have a family, start having conversations with wives. And you know what I'm saying? Right. Because everybody tries to put a negative mindset or negative, you know what I'm saying, opinion in your head. Start taking advice, and men too. Or stop taking advice from these men who out here playing games, dating all these bitches and doing all that. No. You have to really like surround yourself with people who you want to be.
Like-minded people.
Exactly.
Or with people who are single and healthy.
Like,
okay, I'm single, but I can tell you everything I do wrong in relationships.
Yes.
I can tell you what not to do.
Yeah.
I might not be able to tell you how to get a husband, but I can tell you how not to.
Yes.
After flipping Luli, she spoke nothing but truth. It's not about. I don't agree with the comment you made because it's not about you only married people who give married people advice. It's about when if I crank my car does not work. I take it to a mechanic. I don't take it to the grocery store owner. You have to be in something to have an idea of what it takes. You have to have gone through the struggle. You have to have gone through the training. You have to have gone through these different phases of life before you can come and try to give open advice. Now, what she said at the end was marvelous because if I want to be married as a single person, I could tell you all the wrong stuff I did and why I feel like I'm not married because of this. As a divorcee, I can speak to a lot of people about marriage, and I can speak to a lot of people about why. Not telling them what they did wrong, but really using my story as the catalyst of I did these things wrong, and because I did these things wrong, as a man, because a lot of times a lot of the stuff that we do come kind of run along the same lines. Like, no, he wasn't out here cheating. He wasn't out here in people's inboxes. But I wasn't available for this, and I wasn't available for that, and for these reasons, marriage didn't work. So you can speak on your shortcomings and use that as advice to someone coming up. But if you've never been in this arena, how can your advice be anywhere near credible?
I I don't think that just because you marry, you automatically are the poster child for advice. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I think that I agree with her when she says you should get advice from like-minded people. You should get advice from healed people. You should get advice from people that's not toxic, because once you plant a seed in somebody's head, they take that seed and they do whatever they want to do with it. Even though they can say I'm not gonna, they may not want to, they may not take that advice, but you still have planted a seed in somebody's brain, in somebody's head. And now you looking at your spouse like, what you doing over here? What you doing over there? Like, it's not helping. Like, how you toxic as hell and giving out advice?
But
That don't
there's a
work.
difference. Here's the difference. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Knowing the type of advice that you're giving, right?
Exactly.
A toxic person, first of all, if a person is toxic and got a negative mindset about a negative outlook on life and a negative outlook on marriage, I'm not coming to them or being beat for anything they got to say anyway, because we already
Yeah,
know that where they're coming from.
yeah, but it's, just because the person is married doesn't make them just all knowing, and just because the person could be single, and but it's because they were just married and it just didn't work.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. They had to be
It's,
through the experience. So you could be single now and speak to a married couple. Yes, I agree with that. But if you've
but
never been married,
wait, but wait, but wait, because then you have a person like myself who I don't do marriage. So my commitments are pretty much similar to what society will call considered to be married. If the advice that I'm giving a person is coming from a good place, which it usually is, it's going to come from a good place. First of all, I just want to say, listen, you in a relationship, you really shouldn't be getting anybody's advice, whether they married or whether they single. You should really just be talking to your partner and y'all figuring it out yourselves. You should keep your relationship as private as you possibly can.
Exactly.
But if you have to, you grown. You know what makes sense. What apply if it don't apply, you let it fly. You
Exactly.
you it's you grown.
You sure is, Roshawn. Oh, I forgot to let the world know. Roshawn is not here tonight, y'all, because Roshawn is at work.
y'all gonna
So,
take lives.
but he is commenting. So, Roshawn says, I agree. You should have experiences because experiences is the best teacher, but you could be single and give relationship advice.
That's right.
Yes, you can be single and give relationship advice, but for me, it's who you get relationship advice from. Because you
That's
cannot
right.
get relationship advice from everybody. Because number one, everybody don't got
Nope.
your best interest at heart.
Nope.
So you
Nope.
you could think somebody may have your best interest at heart, but they really don't. So you have to be very careful about who you decide to tell your business to, because
Yeah.
sometimes the business ends up being everybody else's business. Um,
Yeah.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. I'm glad you decided to show up because
Thomas says that doesn't make any sense because how would you know if something doesn't apply if you never experienced such a situation before?
You don't have to be mad. What if you were in just a long relationship? You lived together, you shared bills. Same thing as the only difference is you don't have the paperwork and you didn't make the oath. That's the only thing different. But in today's world, we're living together. We are building families together without that whole marriage thing.
Yeah, that's
So
not
you're
nobody speaking against.
and doing it happy and happily doing it.
No one's speaking against the happiness of doing it, and nobody's speaking against any of that. All of that is a beautiful thing to see and to do. Right. The whole idea is, if I wanted to come to, if I needed, like I started with my first statement, I need a haircut, I go see a barber. Right. I don't go to a baker to get a haircut. I don't go. I don't. If I need groceries, I don't go to the funeral home. I go to the supermarket because that's where the stuff that I need is located. Understanding and knowing where you need to be is the first part of having a successful anything. Now, like I said, you could have your experiences. If you were in a long distance, if you were in a long term relationship, and I'm trying to be in a long term relationship, I know I can go to you and speak to you, right? Because I know you've been through the experience. If Kyra has never been through that experience, she don't believe in long term relationships. She got 2 months under her belt, and then after 2 months, she on to the next one. Why am I going to talk to her about being in a long period relationship when I already know she has no interest in being in one? It makes no
But
sense.
but that's not the topic. Is should single people give relationship advice? And if you're not married, you are considered single. But some people do not take marriage the same way. So you have a lot of single couples out here living like married people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are happy. A lot happier than a lot of the actual married people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hold on.
that's like
First, let's clear this up, okay? Marriage, marriage is a state of mind. Is not about the paperwork. A marriage
okay. That's what I need to. All right, that's okay. Now you say it to me, Papa.
marriage is a state of mind. Do I carry myself as? Do I respect my person? Is it me and this person? Me and my person. Are we doing life together? In God's eyes, you are married. Now, if I'm coming now, that's where we look like the deacon hats on now. Okay, now
All right, that's what I needed. Bring
you
them
have
on.
you have the law part of it that says, okay, yeah, you could be together, and be single, but if anything happens, now you're considered single. I'm not going to honor you. Jersey doesn't honor um uh what's it
Common
called?
law marriage.
Yeah, common law marriage. If that man you've been with for 10 years goes into a coma, you cannot fight or advocate for his life because you don't have the paperwork to say that y'all have been married. Right? They're gonna go to whoever is next in line. They're gonna skip right over you because y'all are not married. Yes, that piece. But we're talking to when you talk about people who are giving advice, but they are quote unquote single by law, but
Mhm,
been in long term relationships. These cats move like they've
mhm,
been married. They're moving. They move and they build up. They're building a life like a marriage. So they're still having the experience, even if they don't have the paperwork. How many mechanics do we know out here who don't have they didn't go to DeVry. They don't have the paperwork. They learned it along the line, along the way. They pick up the skills along the way, right?
Mhm.
Am I not going to go to that mechanic because he don't have the paperwork from the ride with the tool set? No, yes, I'm still going to go to him. I'm going to go to him. I'm definitely going to go to him, right? That's exactly what's going to happen because he has the experience. It's not about the uh your status, your relationship status. It's about the experience. So, but if a person who's never been married or been in a committed relationship over a long period of time, they cannot come to me and tell me what I should be doing as a husband, or I'm going to sit around and let my wife or my fiance listen to their view of what a wife should be doing when they've never been a wife, because it's the same parallel universe as me going to a baker and asking that baker to fix my car. It's
But
stupid.
what if the baker fixed cars before he became a baker?
I already said that. If the baker has the experience, he's been through the experience. That's why he's qualified to talk to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about single people. Are we talking about single people who are single people who have never been married, who never been in a marriage mindset? Or are we talking about people who have had the experience, they just don't have the paperwork?
Right. But it says relationship advice.
What time is it? If a pastor is single and he's giving you relation advice, would you listen to him?
Right.
First of all, if a pastor is single, most single pastors don't counsel married folk. That's first of all. But they refer you to maybe their ministerial staff or somebody in. But in the event that they do have to, or they have to step in, or they're giving you biblical knowledge of.
Mhm.
So it's so that's a difference. It's not an opinion. It's not, oh, I think you should do this. They're going to give you what thus said the Lord. Hallelujah. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to give you their opinion of, okay, well, you should be cooking him 15 meals a month, because there's nowhere in the Bible that says it. He's going to come and tell you, the Bible tells you that you love your person like he loved the church, and a man that finds a wife finds. He's going to give you scriptorial references. So yes, I will listen to him. But am I sitting there taking in his experience? I mean, his non-experience, to say, or his opinion? No, because he doesn't have the experience to tell me what I need to do as a husband. He can tell me what the Bible tells me, what the Bible says I should do, but he can't tell me from his experience, like, well, I think you should, because he hasn't been there.
So is that really giving advice? I could tell you about my experience, but am I going to advise you on what to do in your relationship? No. Nope.
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 Mm-mm.
But I'll let you know what I've been through.
Hmm.
But
Many times
step
I have to
before, because I've been through certain things.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Just because I done been through some things, you may never experience what I've been through in relationships.
absolutely.
Okay,
True.
never. You may never experience it, but I can speak the gospel about my experiences, and I wouldn't even want to tell some people about my experiences because to me, I don't want to taint your idea or your vision or version of what you want in a relationship. I don't want to do that to you because I might scare your ass. So sometimes it's okay to say, yes, I've had certain experiences, but I'm not really going to do that with you or whatever. You have to do what you feel as though is best for your relationship because I don't live in your house. I'm only going by what you're telling me. It's always, as they say, it's 3 sides to every story. So it's, whatever is going on in your relationship, only person that really know the real story, the real truth behind whatever is going on is you and him. That's it. You giving me your version. I guarantee you, if I was to go speak to your person or your spouse or your forever, whatever, he probably gonna have a whole nother different scenario. So what are you really giving someone advice on? Except, you know what? Go home and work that out with your husband because you shouldn't be talking to me. You should be talking to him. Now I mean,
that's and that's how you know if the person is really, really coming from the good place. Because the right person gonna send you back home to your person and tell y'all to work it out.
Yep.
Listen, y'all just need to talk.
Yeah, y'all need to be talking to one another, not to this person and that person and this person and that person. Now you got 5 different people all up in your damn business, and probably half of that stuff is just a big ass miscommunication. And you got your side, and then boom, here go the truth. The only 2 people, you gotta understand, there's only 2 people in a relationship, not 2 people plus 1 or 2 or 3. So people shouldn't even really be giving advice. But okay, you want to know what I've been through? I'll tell you. That's the only thing I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, you should do this," or "You should be doing that," or "You need to be watching this." I'm not gonna do that. Because now I'm taking your relationship. You do what you feel as though is best for you in your relationship, and go talk to your person. Because I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't got that for you, but I can cuss your ass out though.
I just got to be honest about myself, and I wish I could say I was that disciplined and I would just limit it to that, but I will tell her to cheat back if say cheat back. I am gonna say that if it's one of those situations. I just that's sorry. Whether they marry, that's what I'm gonna say. And whether it's the man or the woman.
Not cheat back.
You say cheat back. Get your lick back.
So you get your lick back, and then you get up the next morning and you be perfectly fine and everything. Put his slippers on the side of the bed. Put her slippers on the side of the bed so they feet not cold when they touch the floor or anything. You be a sweetheart, honey.
Lord have mercy.
And don't you? And that's it. And everybody be happy.
You're a mess.
Just cheat back, honey.
Don't get your lick back. 2 wrongs do not make a right. 2 wrongs don't make it right. Don't get your lick back. Don't do it. Don't do it. But no, I think for me, that's what people, should really be doing. Don't be telling people what to do in their relationship. All right. No. You know what I'm saying? Just, you can express your experiences. And I agree with that. You can express your experience with people, but I don't think anybody should be telling people what to do in their relationships.
Yeah. Right.
As long as it's not like abusive.
Exactly.
Then it's no reason to be telling nobody what to do, because you could be like, oh, you need to leave him because he's always doing you on da. Guess what? A person ain't gonna leave somebody until they're ready to leave them.
Yeah. Ready to leave.
You're gonna sit there, you're gonna deal with that bullshit, you're gonna keep complaining, you're gonna keep crying, you're gonna keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And so what's the point of even telling somebody, it's time to exit the door when you're ready to exit? You're gonna be ready to exit when you tired of the BS. And that's not your time. That ain't on my time or nobody else's time.
That's right.
Your shit.
That's right.
And if you choose to stay there with your cheating husband or your cheating wife, and you want to do this, and then that's your business, and nobody should know about it.
That's right. Keep it neat, keep it clean,
keep it to yourself.
So when y'all over it, don't nobody got to know y'all. But y'all go ahead, do your dirt, get over it. Keep your business to yourself. So when y'all get tired of it, y'all don't got to worry about nobody talking about it because you kept it to yourself, and that's how you do it.
Exactly. Even if you keep your relationship to yourself, I mean, you don't have to keep everything to yourself because people like to show off. You want to show off.
That's right. That's right.
You do what you do, but you don't have to let everybody into your life in that manner. Because like I always say, everybody don't have your best interest at heart.
That's right. The devil got angels too, honey.
Walking around here in sheep's clothing.
The devil got angels too.
When you say why would you go to somebody that don't have your best interest at heart? Sometimes people don't even know that the person they're going to don't have their best interest at heart because they think that's their friend. They think they could trust that person, and all the while they don't give two shits about you or your relationship because they know they company. So if I could bring you if I could see you a sucker for it and I can bring you in, then that's what I'm gonna do. Because you already done planted the seed in their head. Danielle says some people are not willing to deal with their truth. They run from it. Therefore, they can never tell the truth. So this is why I watch who I get advice from.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. You can't go to somebody that's miserable and think and think you're gonna get some good advice. No, you're not. They're gonna just try to make you feel like your man doing everything under the sun, and in reality, he really ain't that bad.
Right. Right.
Are you making shit up in your head?
Yeah, because they had the experience, but the wrong experiences, and now they bitter, getting advice from a bitter person.
The worst thing you could do.
Even on these different podcasts, I guess we have our podcast or whatever, but even on these podcasts, and people see these little 2-3 minute clips of people saying whatever it is that they're gonna say, and they take it and they just run with it, and then like for instance, Mr. Derrick Jax, this man was sitting up there with a whole nother woman, cheating on his wife, having women get abortions and this and that. But yeah, y'all sitting up there on the outside seeing his little 2-3 minute reels, hand clapping him like, yeah, he know what he talking about, that nice married man. And here he is, the biggest dog you could meet.
Because people it's the business. It's the business. It's the business where church has even been based off of. I say what you want to say. What if it aligns with your view, you're gonna jump on it and you're gonna applaud it because somebody is saying the same nonsense you're thinking. So even in Derrick Jackson's case, he had a whole bunch of women who was backing him up and applauding him and here. Why? Because he was talking a whole bunch of nonsense that women already believed. So all you're doing is waiting to hear something that someone's going to say and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's I was just thinking that. Let me share that. Oh, let me send that to the 50 of my friends who I was just talking to this about. This definitely proves what I was saying. But I'm like, have you checked the source? Who made this person the spokesperson for all? If you caught this morning, hilarious, right? So this morning, Lala was on the podcast this morning. We was on the podcast this morning. And Lala made a observation that she said is a fact, right? I'm not going to share because it's not that type of show, so we're not going to share what the fact was. But it was along the lines of what certain men won't do or will do type of situation, right? Conversation.
Okay.
but she said it was a fact and it was factual. And every woman who believed that nonsense jumped on board and said, yes, it's facts. None of them are doctorates in this area. None of them have actually done the research or the statistical research, but it's their own personal experience. And because what she says has aligned with their personal experience, they're going to jump to in it and say, yes, that's exactly right. And if there was a clip of it, I'm pretty sure they would have shared that clip with 50 other people and 50 other people. And this is how we build this viral moments. This is why there's a hot girl summer. This is why there's a warm girl winter. Like, because you have more people who are agreeing with the nonsense, who are saying, yes, this is absolutely right, and they are sending the information on to the next group of people. Where then you have, let's say you have a Tosh who would say, be good to that man and love that man, and that man will treat you right every which way. I've been doing this for years. Me and my man have our problems, but we've been making it. She'll get one view and 2.5 shares, and one of them is hers. Why? Because the people around her, the people who are listening to what she's saying and her advice, they don't agree with it. So they're not going to sit. They're like, oh, is it that she's a rare case? So I don't need to listen to that. I need to listen to this girl who says, go out there and get that money, get that bag, let them pay for everything because you deserve it. And that's the one that everybody hears, and that's the culture that we now develop. Because finding someone, and that's why Derrick Jaxx made millions. Why? Because he found a niche. He said, hey, these women don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear the stuff that they've been saying this whole time. And that's what he did. He got on TV, sat in that car, probably outside, probably after he just came from outside his mistress' house, sat in the car and said, all men are dogs. They ain't worth nothing. They'll never be worth nothing. You are a queen. You're beautiful, and you can make it on your own. You don't need a man. And this is Derrick Jaxx. And it was like, oh my God, bring him to. We want to hear him speak. Why?
He's telling the truth. He said all men are dogs. He didn't exclude himself.
But that's all they want to hear. They want to hear what they feel in their heart at that time. If it matches with how they feel, that's what they're going to do. That we are in a society where it's no longer about statistical facts. It's no longer about having someone who or knowing or listening or sitting at the feet of your elders who have been through it, who have done it, who've been successful or unsuccessful. We're no longer in a place of sitting at their feet and listening to their knowledge and taking in what they do, what they say. We're now going to people who don't have any experience. I just recently saw a marriage seminar from these two people who only been married for not even a whole year yet. But you're doing a seminar and it says ministry. This is our ministry. We're doing a joint ministry for other couples. We want to come together and build a community. But where's the elders? No, because what people want to hear, they don't want to hear all that stuff. They don't want to hear what Mama did back in '79 because Mama back in '79, she's not dealing with the men that we dealing with today. When the reality is, she is. Because men haven't evolved that much.
He said men haven't evolved that much.
Sorry. Yo, let's hit the next clip.
Who to take relationship advice from? Yeah, she was saying like, "Oh, why would you take relationship advice from somebody that's single?" And I was just like, the thing about relationship advice that's interesting is that it's not like anything else. Like if somebody had like a car dealership that failed and one succeeded, they both could probably teach you something, but you're gonna take more lessons from the one that won, right?
100%.
Relationships is not that way because what's a successful relationship? You get what I'm saying? Like somebody could be married for 50 years
Yeah.
and they hated each other. So
Sure.
just because they stayed, don't mean you should be taking advice from them, because that shit is they in an unhealthy situation.
I say this all the time. Everybody ain't qualified to give you advice.
Exactly. And it might be a single person who they might got great advice because they knew when to leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they knew they got their pros and cons, what went bad, what went right in their situation, but they was healthy enough to get out
For sure.
when they was supposed to. So they might give you some great advice, you know?
Yeah.
So it ain't really about whether the person with somebody or not with somebody is this person healthy.
And that's good advice.
That's very good advice. But that's exactly what I've said the whole night.
And that's good advice.
If
Mhm.
you've been through the experience, you have dealt with the experience.
Danielle, I put the link at in the comments, so you could just click the link if you want to come on. I'm sorry, Derek. Go ahead.
It's all right. You've been disrespectful all show. So.
No, I was just letting, because Danielle was saying she wanted to come on, so I put the link in the comments, so she can click it and say what she needs to say without having to type it all out.
Nobody. I don't want to say no. I don't want to say nobody. Some are. Everybody is not unqualified to give advice.
They not.
But everyone is qualified to share their experience.
Absolutely. If you choose to.
Everyone is qualified to share their experience. Your experience may be the fact that may be the one thing that makes me either go left or right.
Mm-hmm.
So if I meet 3 people who all say don't eat at McDonald's because there's rats in there, then I might think about, hey, you know what? I may not need to eat at McDonald's.
Mm-mm.
Because these are 3 people who have had bad experiences, right? I know that their experience is bad, right? Now, if I meet 1 or 2 other people who said, nah, McDonald's that place is immaculate, you can eat off the floor. Now I got somebody who says otherwise. So now I may walk in and try it because now I've gotten a balance of advice. But you have to know the people who are there and what are their ulterior motives. If you are toxic, if you done had 7 wives, if you done had 7 husbands or 7 wives and 5 of them are dead mysteriously, I really want to have a conversation with you, unless that's what I'm trying to do.
Let me show you how to get rid of.
Right. You link up with people. As Shorty said at the beginning, you link up with people, like-minded people. If I want to have a successful marriage, I'm going to get myself around people who are striving to have a successful marriage. I'm not telling you to go find you a successful marriage, because we don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. But you can get around a bunch of people who are thriving to be successful.
Absolutely.
And y'all can build a community together there's a community of people who are imperfect, but we're thriving to be perfect. We're thriving to love each other. I'm like, okay, these people I want to be around. Know your environment, know who is offering information, and then you take it at how you need to take it. Just because Tasha is cute doesn't mean that I can just take beauty secrets from her, because she may say, you know what, I do semen regimens. I'm gonna go get some semen. No, I'm not. You got to know the source. You got to know what they're pushing. And when you know the source and you know what they're pushing, you make the decision that's best for you.
As you should. All right, Danielle has come on to speak her mind. So we are going to bring Miss Danielle onto the stage.
Nah, this the Pearsons. I saw Derek in there. Yeah.
I'm here.
Hello.
We all remember Danielle. She used to also be a host on our show.
It's the reunion
Before
special.
she had her, but she had her little beautiful bundle of joy.
This is a reunion special. We're gonna call Zay. We got to call Jay and
She's back there.
Justin.
Yeah, she's right there. But, yeah, I was listening, and it's great points. Like the gentleman, before you, Derek, he was saying basically that, some single people can give advice. They know when to leave. You have some people who know, and that's in really good mental health, and know when to kind of like get out of there. You know, being smart is also not taking abuse and all that type of stuff, and knowing when to say, listen, the buck stops here. But then you also have some, like you said, Derek. You also said pretty much that there's some people who, like the older generation. They sometimes give advice back in 1979, like you said, 1950 something, and times has changed. Some things that don't change is pretty much girl meets boy. Some things just don't change in life. Some things really remain the same. You be honest with me, I'll be honest with you, and that's well, I can't say it like that because there's sometimes where you can go in a relationship and trying to be 100% authentic in who you are, but you got some people who are just not honest. But now you got people who try to give you advice, and that's the part where, listen, a lot of things sound good, but it doesn't work for me. It don't work for me. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah,
right.
you have to always know what's for you, what's good for you in your predicament, in your relationship, and things like that. You can't take everybody's advice. But I'm gonna listen.
Yeah.
But this I'm listening don't mean I'm gonna take your advice. So if I still choose, if you give me advice and I still choose to be where I'm at, respect it and let's move on.
And
Right.
that's I agree with that. I just think that there's some people, like I said in my last comment. It all depends who you get advice from, because you got some people who if I'm going through a battered relationship, or if I'm going through an abusive relationship, and I seen another woman who's been through another relationship who was battered and abused as well, then I can say, listen, how did you get through that?
Yeah.
And how do you come through that situation? But if I'm in a or you're in a happy relationship and I'm in an abusive relationship, and I come to you like, Dad, how do I get out of this? And this woman look at me and say, listen, you'll be like, look, I don't know, because I've never been through that. My husband is a good man to me. He's a good person. I don't know. I can't identify what you're going through. I can't identify with that type of relationship. How do you deal with polygamy in a marriage? Because it's a whole bunch of that going on. You understand? Like, how do you deal with that? No, I'm sorry. I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how some women can stand for that type of stuff, because this is how my relationship dynamic goes. This is how it goes in my household.
Baby, you ain't lying about that, because I don't know how they do it either.
So it's like, yeah, like it's you just what you say to people. And like the other lady said too, she was saying, pretty much what she was saying. She was basically saying, like, you have some people who you want to make sure that a person will continue to give you together. A good person says, listen, go fix that. Go make that thing better. Like she said, don't give nobody advice trying to break up their marriage.
Yeah.
Don't or their union or whatever it is. Like don't break up the person. Or if you've never been in that situation, never put your mouth on it. Just be quiet. Just say, listen, you know what? I need to direct you to somebody else, which is 1-800 you need counseling, because I ain't got nothing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I'm big on that one. Like, I would tell somebody to go to counseling in a heartbeat, not just because I did it, but because I know the benefits of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you in a heartbeat, maybe you need to talk to somebody that's professional, because, talking to just your friends and just people, period, that don't work. sometimes you gotta get a little deeper in order to resolve the issue that's going on in your relationship, and you're not gonna get that from you venting to me. You might feel better because you got a little something off your chest, but it's a deeper wound there that you got to deal with. You got a demon that you got to fight, and the only way to fight it, I can't help you fight it. You need a professional for that.
I'm the type of person, like, if you can't fix it, I get mad. I'm like, what I'm calling you for? What you can't fix it anyway. Bye. I get mad. So it's best for me not to even talk to people about what I'm going through. I'm ready to wring Derek neck, but they don't understand that I'm talking about my husband, Derek. Like I'm ready to wring his calling my best friend. Or I'm calling someone who I truly trust. They're not going to understand it. I'm like, girl, I don't see how you deal with that. I'm like, yeah, I know you don't, because you ain't got nobody. My whole point. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's not to be funny. It's basically they don't understand your dynamics. So a lot of times they try to help you out in your frustrations that's momentarily, but they wouldn't be. But all that type of frustration, you really need to go to God.
Thomas, you forever want to take something and twist it around and make it into something that it's not. Thomas says, so y'all will pay a stranger to get advice before you get advice from your friends. If you can't get advice from your friends, then you shouldn't be around them. And that is not what I said. What I said was that it is sometimes better to go to a professional, which is a therapist, to deal with your deep-rooted problems on why you can't be in a relationship, because your friends are not going to be able to dig into that deep-rooted problem and give you ways to deal with your triggers and to deal with your situation. Never said you couldn't go to your friends for advice, but sometimes it is better to go get advice from a therapist because you got something deeper going on in your life, or something a trauma that may have happened to you as a child, as an adult, as a teenager, that you just ain't never dealt with, and you just bringing it along with you.
Right.
That's what I mean by that. And there's nothing wrong with paying a stranger to get some help and to get healed from your demons.
There's nothing wrong.
Sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger.
That is so true.
What makes them not your friends, Thomas? Please enlighten me.
And it wasn't because the relationship was bad. I was going through pregnancy, and I was going through postpartum depression, and I was going through I was not able to work. I was pretty much going through so much after I gave birth, and I'm just like, listen, this is taking too long to bounce back. And even today, I'm still not bounced back from having my child. So I saw my husband carry all the bills. He did everything that he did, not to like big the man up, but I give him, props where it's due. You understand? Mm-hmm. But like I said, he made sure everything, and he took care of me. Where most men know how to deal with that type of situation, and wouldn't know how to deal with me all along, because I want certain things. I'm a certain type of. I was raised type of way as a woman, making sure that I'm okay with the things that I need to do to make it in this life, and to have someone pick up things that I can't do, pick up where, and I understand that's what marriage is all about. But it's like to actually see that and actually experience that. I really felt guilty. I felt bad because it was like, yo, I'm watching him do this by himself, and I know he's tired. He didn't sign up to do this all by himself, So I'm like, I had to talk to a counselor in the hospital saying, listen, my husband is going through a lot, and I just want to help him. I was in tears. He was like, did you tell him that? And I'm like, yeah. He said, as long as you tell him that, I think he knows that, and I think everything is going to be okay. So talking to a complete stranger, like you said, will help. It will definitely help because I've been there.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with going to a therapist and healing yourself, because that's the reason why you ain't having successful relationships. Sometimes that's just it. It ain't really the person. It's just some deep-rooted shit that's with you.
Right.
That you just got to heal. And that's why, look even with the, the little clips or whatever, you keep saying you can get advice from a healed person. You can't get advice from a person that ain't healed, that's still trying to fight their own demons and still dealing with their own triggers every time, and yeah, you could be looking on the outside in somebody else's relationship, and certain things in their relationships may trigger you. And here you is giving advice because you triggered, trying to call yourself warning somebody, but no, you need to deal with your shit first before you could ever help anybody else deal with theirs.
And I tried, and I really, you absolutely right. And I went to some friends, right? I went to some people that I know and family members, and their words was, you need to be working. You need to get up and let's go. Get it all together. I'm just like, but I know that. And they'll tell you some things that that'll make, I guess the whole saying, saying as a woman, you gotta be more independent. You gotta be that boss chick. You gotta be that da-da-da-da. They'll put their views on you. I don't mind being the testimony person, giving the world my testimony. You know what I mean? Telling my issues, because it ain't issues, it's a testimony. However, these are the things that I've been through. It's not what it is now. But like I said, like, you have people who are really, that'll tell you, like, okay, that'll make you feel bad because you're not on your feet, or you're not where you're supposed to be, and your husband gonna leave you, or because I've been through this, I'm telling you this man is not gonna really be there, and da-da-da-da. That's a lie from hell, because he right here, and he doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Hey, Derek.
Yeah.
Deacon.
It's the truth. I'm being honest.
Get your boy Thomas. Get your boy.
What he say? What Thomas say?
Thomas says a lot of the times people want advice from strangers because they don't want to be judged or shamed for their bad decision making in relationships. Really? That's what we doing today?
When we speaking the truth, we're speaking the truth.
That's not speaking the truth, because that's not true. That's not the reason. I didn't go speak to a therapist.
Lack of accountability.
I did not go to a therapist because I didn't want to tell my friends about my bad decision making in my relationship. I went to a therapist because I already knew I was making bad decisions in my relationships, and I was holding myself accountable, and I said, I need to fix me. I could care less about anybody judging me because I don't tell people my business. That's number one. So I don't have that problem with being judged, because I don't bring people into my business. And what are you ashamed of? Everybody makes bad choices. That's everybody. You're not a human being if you never made a bad choice, if you never made a bad decision in life. That's just what it is. What you need to be shamed for. As long as if you make a bad decision or you make a mistake, as long as you learn from it and grow from it, then you okay. So make it make sense, Thomas. I'm not understanding that one. Because when you sit and you make it seem like going to a therapist is a bad thing because you're trying to heal, that's the problem. Because people make it seem like going to see a therapist is a bad thing in order to heal themselves. Why am I putting my burdens on my friends anyway? That don't make them a good friend because they sit up there and they suck up my burdens.
And then be labeled as a friend. Oh my gosh, she the heavy friend. We got to carry her everywhere we go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, you don't want that. And what, you know how as women are, we could be like that. Like, girl, can we sing another song besides your song?
Yeah, my burdens is not for anybody else to carry but me. And when I choose to release those burdens, I shouldn't have to release them onto my friend and have them feeling some type of way and like, oh my God, I got to check on her today. Oh my God, we got to make sure. Oh my God. No, when somebody going through something, you going through something.
That's true.
And yes, that's what your friends are for. Your friends are there to support you. Sometimes you just need that friend not to give you advice, but just to let you vent or have a shoulder to cry on. I don't need your advice. I just need you to be there and to listen to me or rub my back and wipe my damn tears. But when you go to a therapist, I'm going to a therapist to get healed and to grow and to get better. And that is nothing to be ashamed about.
That is nothing to me. Some people just trying to fix the situation, trying to know how.
Yeah, it ain't nothing wrong with trying to fix yourself. But if you want to go through life just by yourself and bopping from this person, and keep wondering why your relationships ain't working, then that's on you. And that's your business and that's your prerogative. And you go ahead and you do you, but you will be miserable and by yourself for the rest of your life.
Called accountability.
You choose not to change.
Accountability.
That's it. Just hold yourself accountable.
Right. It is your prerogative to make whatever it is that you're trying to work. That is up to you. Guess what? To make a marriage work or relationship work, it takes two people to tango. Two people.
That's it.
First, and you didn't get married to everybody. You didn't get married for everybody to be a counselor. First of all, there's certain types of people in a marriage that are supposed to give marital counseling in the first place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes friends can give good advice, but friends can't give all the advice, especially if they ain't married. That's just it.
Yeah, that's it. You can't give me advice on something that you ain't never been through. You can't tell me nothing if you ain't never been through it. And Thomas, how is a person that so you want your friend to enable, once again, that is not a friend. How is a friend enabling you if they're supporting you? That's not enabling. That's called support. It's not enabling. If I went to my friend and I'm venting to my friend and my friend turns back around to me and say, you know what, I can't really give you advice on this. I think you need to speak to somebody that's a professional, or you need to go speak to a therapist that can really like help you. That's not enabling me. That's my friend telling me I need to take a little deeper look at myself, and I need to go speak to somebody about my situation. That's not enabling. That's not an enabling friend. That's a supportive friend, because you telling me the right thing. You not sitting up here saying, "Oh no, God, leave that nigga alone. Fuck that nigga." My friend ain't telling me that. My friend just saying you got some other shit going on with you, and you need to go handle that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But statistically, most people aren't married. So based on math, the therapist has a good chance of not being a married individual. I'm done with you, Thomas.
Oh my God! You know what movies you watching for real?
I'm
not lying now.
No. I think he said it being watch the Why Did I Get Married episode or something. I don't know.
Yes. Oh my God! But they were married though. Patricia was married. It sounds like a movie he watching for real.
He said a lot of the times when friends say that it's because they know who they're talking to, and you might not be the type of person that's open to relationship advice in general. I think that's not necessarily true, because if you go into somebody to get advice, obviously you're open to something because you're going to that person for a reason. But everybody is not qualified to give you advice. And if you're telling me something, and even though you came to me to get advice or whatever, and I can't give it to you, what kind of friend am I going to be if I don't guide you to somebody that can help you? Because I can't do it. It just doesn't make any sense. But I'm not saying that single people can't give advice. It's just certain lanes that people need to stay in. And you have to know who you're going to for advice from. You can't trust everybody with your business. You can't trust the advice that everybody is giving you, even if it is your friend, because sometimes your damn friends just is miserable as hell too.
Mm-hmm. Jill Scott said, if you can tell me what to do, then tell me what to do. And if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do. That's what she said.
Absolutely. Sean says everyone isn't eligible or capable to counsel you regardless if they're married or not, and you can have single people give better advice than married people. And that's true, you can.
That's
It
not
just
true.
it just depends. It just depends on the situation. It
That's
depends
not
on the
true.
experience. It depends on what you're going through. You know
Right,
what
but
I'm
it
saying?
depends on the experience. If a single person, you will not have a single. You cannot sit here and tell me that a single person who has never been married, who's never been in a long-term relationship, can sit and give you better advice than
On how to be
someone.
married than being. You could give me married advice about how to be single and how to be in a
Right,
relationship according to your whatever it is that you're into, but you can never give me advice on really how the law of marriage, what marriage is, especially according to what my morals are, my beliefs are, and who I am as a person. You can't unless
right,
you understand that and been through that yourself.
But that's the reason why they say when you are getting advice from it, you have to deal with people that's more like-minded. Because I can't come if I could come to you because I could come to let's say to Danielle if I want to get married or I am married and I want to go to Danielle and just get a little advice and talk to her about it. I know where she's rooted at. You know what I'm saying? So I know if I come to her, she's gonna give it to me straight, but she's gonna be honest with me about it, hold me accountable and things of that nature. Whereas if I go to another friend that may be not in such a great marriage, and I'm coming to her with the same thing, I already know what I'm getting from you. I'm not gonna get what I'm gonna get from Danielle. I'm not gonna get sensibility and understanding. I'm gonna get, oh, you can take your bags and leave. It ain't worth the aggravation. So
hmm
it depends on what
That's
type of
a whole
married
stack of
couple.
money. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it depends on what type of married couple because you could be married and still be fucking. You could still be married and be unhappy, and
Yes.
you just there, just to be there to say, oh, I got a husband. I'm married now. Like no.
For real. And then I kind of got it now. Just like it kind of clicked. Like what Sean is saying is basically according to his situation. You know, not to go there, but you know, according from what he said prior to other conversations, you know, his situation. You know, he's not in a certain. You know, he's not married, but he is in a very serious committed relationship. So therefore, he may can or people in that type of situation because of other purposes and other reasonings. You understand they might not have the piece of paper, but they understand what it's like to be in a committed relationship. They
Absolutely.
understand what it's like to be with someone and really love them, but there are certain things that permit them to take it a step further, as we did. You understand? As people who are married, not to put the business on Front Street, Sean. My bad. You know, my bad.
Jeff, hey Jeff. Jeff says, but what if a person that's been in a relationship for a long time and just because they aren't married doesn't mean that they aren't qualified to give advice? And you absolutely right. You could be in a committed relationship with somebody and still give somebody advice and don't have to be married.
right.
You can give
You
advice.
can be. But you have to be, if you're going to give me advice on my marriage or on how to navigate through my marriage, you got to be in a healthy, happy marriage.
Yes, that's woo. That's right. If you frowning every day, you waking up talking about I should have left him a long time ago. You better not ever give me a piece of advice. I'm sorry. Don't even come over here with that. Put it like this: I rebuke you. Go that way. Yeah. No. We don't have that here. No. Okay. Thank you, Lord. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sean, that's the same thing Derek was saying. He was married and now, single, but you can still give advice because you've been through some things and you can tell people what you've been through. I personally don't like giving people too much advice because I ain't that person that's going to tell you that you should leave your person. I'm not going to tell you to leave your husband or leave your man because y'all going through something. Like I said, I'm going to tell you, you don't need to be talking to me. You need to be talking to the person that you're with. I will sit here and I will listen to you. I will let you vent. I will rub your back. I will take you to go get something to eat. We could go get some drinks. I will support you in that way. But I am not the friend that's going to say, leave this person alone unless and unless it's something like abusive or something of that nature, then that's something different. But if y'all just going through something, then y'all going through something. You gotta learn how to navigate those things. But you can't navigate it with me. You gotta navigate that with him, because I ain't married to your ass. I'm not married to you. You married to this man. I don't know what actually goes on in your home. Nor do I want to know. I don't care what's going on in other people's home. I only care about what's going on in mine. That's
right.
it.
That's enough.
Telling me all the time, like, look, that's you. And oh man, I think it was a friend, one of my friends. He was like, D, that's you and Derek. You and Derek do all of that. We don't do that. We don't act like y'all. I'm like, okay, well, maybe if y'all do, y'all look a little happy. Shit. Like, my God. But and it's like that. You try to give people advice. Even coming from a good couple, coming from good advice and people who are happy, and we try to share our happiness with other people. But some people just don't want it. You got some people who like the other person said, who in the comments, they don't really want good advice. They truly don't want it. You have to want it, and if you don't want it, it's like, all right, yeah, you need deeper help. Yeah. That's why I said, look, some advice is good advice, and no advice is also good advice too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for real.
All right, I'm gonna take this last comment from Mr. Roshawn Davis, and that is, he says, even though we did speak on this, and he said a lot of the time, misery loves company. Some friends or frenemies want to see you fail because they're jealous of your relationship.
That's exactly right.
Well, we did speak on, we spoke on that a little earlier in the podcast. And that's what I'm saying. People don't have your best interests at heart. It's time for us to, tidy this up and get the heck up on out of here. But what I will say as my last piece of whatever I'm going to say for the night on this topic is that what I've been saying since the beginning of the episode is just watch who you get advice from. Be careful who you get advice from, because relationships can actually last longer when you go to the right people and go to good people. Get you the help if you need to go to therapy, if you need to do marriage counseling, if you need to do relationship counseling, because they have relationship counseling too. It ain't just marriage counseling. They do have relationship counseling when people going through things and they can't happen to they just stuck in that one place. Sometimes you need to go to relationship counseling. But it is what it is. Whatever you feel as though is going to be productive for your relationship, that's what you should be doing. Not listening to podcasts and listening to people that you don't know and having that fairy tale on the social media. Oh, this is relationship goals. Make your own relationship goals and get yourself together, get yourself healed, and let your relationship grow and prosper so you could be in a long, committed relationship with one person. That's just my 2 cents. Tasha, do you have anything to say before we get out of here?
Don't listen to me. I'm the friend you don't listen to. I'll have you in the streets, honey, and you go home. You'll be happy, but you're going to hit the streets at least one time. You got to get over it. And I'll send you home and tell you to go work on your marriage, honey. We're going outside.
Well, y'all know who to go to when y'all want to get in them streets.
I see.
I'm good though. I'll take you outside and take you back home to your husband. Like, you just need to get outside. Let's go.
I ain't messing with Tasha.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from you.
Lord have mercy. Thank you, Danielle, for joining us towards the end. Would you have anything that you would like to say before we leave?
I'm just gonna say, stop listening to David Jackson.
Gosh.
No, David, not Jackson. What's his name? Samuels. That's what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry.
He dead, girl.
I don't care. Still stop listening to him.
That's Sean Boyd right there.
Stop listen. All I gotta say is
I think he
Be the
archived all the
person.
Kevin
Just be the
Samuel
person
stuff.
on your level, and you got to be careful who you listen to. You got to be careful who you take advice from, even if they have
Mm-hmm.
even if they have the perfect degrees, because that still don't
Yeah.
qualify you for good love.
That's
Right.
it. That's it. And that's all.
Right.
Hallelujah. Nah, don't.
Twinkle,
Next,
twinkle.
Jeff, you stupid. Jeff said, nah, don't bring her back. Derek,
I
the
can't.
good deacon.
Yeah, but
What you got? What you got for us, Derek?
Oh, I left my comment back at an hour. So
what? I can't.
I think Derek said we overtook the
Derek.
show. Oh, I'm sorry, Derek. Say
let's
what
get
you
back
got
to
to say
family.
before we leave.
Let's get back to family.
Yeah, Sean just wrote that in the comments. I thank you, Tasha. I thank you, Danielle, for coming out and blessing us with your wonderful advice and your opinions and coming to hang out with us once again. Of course, you know I miss both of you guys. And y'all are welcome to come back on anytime you want to. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Danielle, blessings to your baby.
Oh.
Pictures
That's not a
and
baby. That's a adult.
you said that's a no.
That's
I said
no.
that's not a baby anymore. That's an adult.
That's a baby.
My goodness.
That's a baby. Adults are 18. That baby, it ain't been 18 years yet. Okay. Thank all the viewers for tuning in tonight. Thank y'all. We appreciate you because we wouldn't be here 5 years. Whoo, 5 years. God, Jesus. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. So thank y'all for joining the conversation. I appreciate y'all. We will see y'all next week, same time, same place. Don't know what the topic gonna be, but we will see y'all next week. God bless y'all. Peace, love, and blessings.
All right, you too, babe.
All right.
All right, guys.